Welcome to the Money Down Super Bowl edition, man. That was a fun one, man. I ain't gonna lie. I thought points was gonna be hard to come by. For both teams, I thought both defenses was gonna be tough matchups for the offenses, and they showed out, man. I don't know what y'all takeaways from that one. I know both of y'all had the 49ers winning, so I know y'all probably a little mad about that, but
it's so crazy, bro. Like now thinking about it, I've been juicing Spags up since I don't know when, bro. And it's like I get into the big game, and you get into the big game, and it's like you just decide to go against the grain and you do something dumb, dog. And that was stupid of me. And I think that was the turning point of the game. Like you could see San Fran came out firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. Even not putting points on the board, but just the way their offense was moving. And then it got to a point when halftime, I said it and I tweeted, I was like, oh shit, Spags done figured them out. Yep. And you could tell from that point, like Kyle Shanahan had no answers when it came to trying to adjust to what Spags was trying to do to him.
But you know why though? The crazy part is James and I was talking about this like during the game because San Fran stopped running the ball.
100%.
As soon as they took the balls out of as soon as they took the ball. As soon as they took the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands, the offense started sputtering. You couldn't do nothing. But then when that second half came around and you start giving the man the ball back, running the ball in between the tackles, what happened? The offense started picking back up. Stuff was opening up for Brock. And unfortunately, my thing is, bro, I think the kicker was doing too much, dog. That extra point could have literally put the game away, dog. Yeah. Like that extra point is crucial. I mean, again, hats off to their defense for blocking it, but the trajectory of the ball was like he was kicking a 50-yarder, bro.
San Fran had plenty of opportunities.
They had plenty. 2 turnovers in the first half that they didn't capitalize on.
Hey, James, you know what else is so crazy that like I kind of noticed and you talked about it, right? Just how long the doggone Super Bowl is between the commercial timeouts, halftime, and like people got to understand the importance of game rhythm, right? Like when you're so used to playing a game for 60 minutes and then you start factoring all these other things like longer TV timeouts, longer halftime, you could see it, bro. San Fran's whole team, like that whole last drive, Christian McCaffrey was gassed. Yeah. San Fran's defense was gassed. Yep. And I just got to give my hats off to like Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, bro. You could tell that they prepared, for every scenario, and they had that little bit extra in the tank when it got tough and tight later in the game, and that's what pushed them through.
Yeah, man. You could definitely tell San Fran was worn out. Fred Warner was worn out. Yeah. CMC was worn out. But them boys was doing their thing, though. Obviously, they was putting they all into it. I just thought, the second half, the Chiefs was able to create a little bit more pressure on Brock Purdy. The first half, he was comfortable. He was standing in there. He was getting from one side of the field back to the other side of the field, finding guys, extending plays. And they never really, sacked him too many times, but they started to close that pocket on him, and they started batting passes down. And I feel like that's what really got him out of rhythm. They did stop running the football, which did play a factor in it. But I thought the pressure of the Kansas City Chiefs, I thought they had no pressure on Brock Purdy in the first half, and he was comfortable. But I thought he played well, though. I thought he handled himself. He scrambled, made some plays. He, got outside the pocket and made some good dump down plays. Juwan Jennings, he had a heck of a game. He could have very well been.
He was for sure gonna be the MVP
if they won that football game. That's one of them unsung heroes right there. If they would have won that one.
Yeah, but bro, and we talked about this last week, bro, or earlier this week, bro. San Fran's defensive front played a hell of a game against Pat Mahomes, getting him off the spot, keeping him out of rhythm, bro. They played a phenomenal game up front, and they played good together too. That was cool. That was good to see.
Yeah, for sure. Because we were texting about it, and it's crazy, Warren. You said Chase Young was gonna have a day,
bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, and he turned it up just with the pressure he was able to get. I want to say he had 2 sacks.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
1.5 or 2 sacks, and then I just think, but we also got to give KC O-line credit, man. Yeah. Like when we sit here and we talk about the guys that they were able to stop, Chase Young, monster. We all know what Nick Bosa is to this league as far as pass rusher, what they was able to kind of hold off on a couple of seconds and give Pat a little extra time to extend plays and create plays. We got to give credit to Pat. He made some plays with his feet that was extremely vital for them. So I just think KC did a good job overall.
Yeah, I thought Mahomes obviously handled himself well. He had the one interception where he tried to force a pass in there. Then I feel like after that, he started just settling. He's like, all right, they covering up my receivers pretty good. If they ain't there, I'm gonna try and scramble. Try and make a little dump down pass. That's what I wanted to do in the first half. I felt like they was trying to make a big play. San Fran was doing a great job in coverage and rushing the passer. I just wanted to run the ball a little bit more. Take those 2 and 3 yard gains, get it into third and 2 and 3. We know how good they are in those situations. Everything on the table. You can hand it to Pacheco, the little play action, fake jet sweeps like they hit him on that last possession. So I thought that second half he started to get a feel for the game and started to lock in those biggest moments. And that's what you want to see when one of the greatest players playing his league, making his mark. I thought he just really settled. And Kelsey too. He didn't really do much of nothing in the first half. Second half, he started to settle in there a little bit. He bumping into Andy Reid and all that. But that's kind of what I was talking about. Sometimes, bro, you get no matter how many times you've been there, dog. Like them emotions could get the best of you sometimes. Whether it's the ball not coming your way, whether it's them taking you out the game, whatever those emotions get huge in that football game. You don't never see KC do that throughout the entire year, even in the Super Bowl. But that was different to see.
I was gonna say, you got Pat Mahomes and Rashee Rice getting into it. Yeah.
Because this shit is for it all, bro. Like, and I don't think people understand, but James, Warren, you guys know them OTAs, them summer camps, that's 17, 18 week NFL grind. And then, they didn't get the bye this year. Now you got to win 4 games to get to the Super Bowl. Bro, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into these moments in these games. Yeah. So I'm seeing all these people tweet like, oh, what is Travis Kelce doing? And like, if you've been in the NFL locker room, college football locker room, stuff like that happens all the time. That, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe never hits the internet or hits, Twitter and all these things, but that's normal. Them boys gonna be celebrating. Them boys gonna be turned up today.
But you hit it right on the head when you said if you've ever been in the NFL locker room. And
for sure.
Sometimes people say what they want to say, even though they don't know. They don't have the understanding about what it takes, how much time these guys put in. Like, unless you look at a calendar and count the months and the days, like, it's so much more that goes into it. The hard work, I don't know, we don't do 2 a days no more anyway, but just the hours that you put in a facility watching film. Like, a lot of people don't understand that grind. So,
hey, James, and we can get the story from you, but like, winning the Super Bowl, you don't get that. Like, you got guys already on vacation, guys in Cancun, Mexico, people all over the place. And when you get into these Super Bowls, that season gets extended longer. Now OTA is starting in like a month or 2, and you got to get ready to get back on that grind, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You can hear them. I listened to like a little bit of their post game stuff. They already talking about trying to get 3-peat. So that's their mindset already. They already tapped in. They already tapped in the next season. But that's what those great franchises do, dog. And it's impressive from this team. I thought this would have been a year where they might not have made it to the Super Bowl based on the way their offense was. They just grind it, found a way, and that's just what it is, dog. I mean, the receiving core, I love Rashee Rice, had a heck of a rookie year. He balled out. And funny part about the whole game, it was a sloppy first half. The ball was on the ground like crazy. People fumbling left and right. Like I said, the stage gets set in those games, dog. You just never thought CMC would have put the ball on the ground. Didn't think Pacheco would have put the ball on the ground. These guys have played him, big time moments, dog. So you just never know what's gonna happen, man.
But how crazy, bro? Like, and I know everybody saw it, but that Dre Greenlaw injury, bro, just running off the sideline, bro, and you could see it, bro, slow motion, and that's an Achilles, bro. Like. Yeah. That's stuff that takes forever to heal, bro. But it happened in the heat of a game like that.
That's a big loss too.
That was a huge loss.
Yeah.
And Greenlaw is one of them players, like, you could see it when that game first started. Greenlaw was playing at 200 miles an hour.
That ball was flying. He was cranked up.
He was on one. Like he was, as that term we would use, he was on one for sure. But I gotta give a hats off to the guy that stepped in for him. Like,
he played well.
He played well and made some plays too, especially to just be thrown in a situation like that. Again, on the biggest stage of them all, he made some plays too. So shout out to him too. But losing a leader like Greenlaw, for sure, hurted them in the long run.
Yeah, man. Back to Purdy though, I really thought he played well. I just think he shouldn't have thrown the ball 38 times though. He dropped back and passed on 38 times. That's a lot. Not to say that he can't do it, but I just feel like that's a lot of passes. I feel like that second half they just really weren't in rhythm. I know, and like you was a Falcon fan with Shanahan. That question's going start to arise a little bit. Like he can't close it out in the big football game. You got the lead. I mean, there's only 7 points at the time, but. It's definitely going to be some question marks coming out of San Fran, whether he can manage these games.
But I mean, you've been running that offense through Christian McCaffrey all year. Yeah. I don't think you go away from that. Even if things feel like it's going slow, I feel like you got, obviously you change some things, but you still stick with your bell cow, brother. I don't think there was any way in them last few minutes of that first half. Like you put the ball in Purdy's hands. Like, not saying again he can't do it, but he hasn't shown it all year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't. Especially in a game like that, you haven't done it in the regular season all year, but now to try to do it in the Super Bowl and put the ball in his hands, like ending the second half or going into halftime like that, you don't do that. You got to keep your momentum, keep the ball in the hands of your bell cow. Because when you stop running the ball was when problems started happening.
Yeah. And where I'm disappointed in Kyle Shanahan is he said, like, you hear Tony Romo say it on the Super Bowl that he wanted to run the ball 30 plus times. Like, you said that. Yeah. So why do you? What's up? I'm trying to figure out what's up with coaches getting in these games and deviating from the game plan that they've discussed in the media, and now it's like you get in it and it's like
pressure, man.
You just gonna go away from it. Like your bell cow has been Christian McCaffrey. Again, we said it with LJ last week or 2 weeks ago, and we're gonna say it with this. When you got a player as special as that, I am going guns blazing on my top dog in my offense. And don't get me wrong, they got top dogs at every position. And that's why I don't put this on Brock Purdy, because with so many weapons like that, a coach, you got to figure out how you're going to scheme up and put all these guys in the situations for them to be successful. But then on top of that, when you get in a game and it's like all year we've been leaning on, McCaffrey, he's been doing all these great things for us. He won Offensive Player of the Year, could have been an MVP. Depending on, how the year went. Obviously, LJ won it, but why do I get in the game and he only got 17 attempts?
Yeah. I mean,
McCaffrey would have to fumble that ball every single time, bro. for me to stop giving him the ball. And if that's how I'm gonna go out, I feel comfortable going out that way.
Yeah, man.
You live and die by your sword.
I live and die by it.
Yeah, man. That KC defense, though, that secondary, I thought they balled out. They held the boys in check. McCaffrey was a leading receiver. Ayuk only 49 yards. Deebo Samuel only 33 yards on 11 targets. So my dog Trent McDuffie balled out on that matchup. George Kittle, he had 2 catches for 4 yards. That's I know both of y'all kind of thought he was gonna have a big game. They kind of kept him quiet. I don't know whether the plays weren't designed for him, whatever it may be. I just thought they had to do a better job of getting him the ball. Like those big time players that you have on your team. I thought Ayuk, I thought he played well. I thought he should have had some more time.
Played very well.
He was winning his matchup, so I feel like the ball should have went his direction, a few more times. But yeah, when you get in these moments in these Super Bowls, dog, like the pressure is huge. Those possessions, each time you lose a possession, you like dang, I don't know how many more we're gonna get. So that pressure, really starts to rise, especially in the second half. I said, I've never been a play caller, I've never been a head coach in these situations, only a player. But I can only imagine, like, when that pressure gets tight and you feel like shit ain't really working, you're just trying to find shit to provide a spark. But San Fran, they were moving the ball, bro. I just couldn't punch that.
It makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense at all. And like you said, like San Fran, if you notice, San Fran is that offense. They use the play action a lot. They get guys on these in-breaking routes, which is perfect, right? You've seen Ayuk get some passes on these dig routes. You've seen Deebo catch a couple dig routes. But when you stop running the ball, that, you know what I'm saying? Like that takes away now as a defensive coordinator, I feel like I've got you off your game plan. You're not running the ball. Now I can do all these different disguises and things in the back end to kind of mess with your, I don't want to say inexperienced quarterback, but a quarterback that hasn't been in a situation in a pressure like this. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's where I don't want to pinpoint that, like not running the ball kind of made them lose that game, but it's so big, man. The chess matches between the coordinators and head coaches that can really cause a lot of this stuff to be an issue of a win or a loss.
Yeah, and there was like two big plays for me in the red zone for the 49ers. The one play where they had the Deebo Samuel where one of the D linemen got pressure on Brock Purdy, that was a tug.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones twice on the final possession in overtime. They had Jennings on a little return route, but there was pressure, and Ayuk was going across the back of the end zone. They had two guys open right there, so it was good play calls right there. They had tugs, the protection was right, and that's just the thing when you go back and look at the film. We just watch it on TV, so you don't see like all this stuff. When you go back, there's gonna be plays that they look at like, damn, if I just had 2 more seconds, or this guy just would have held his blocker just a little bit longer. You probably have touchdowns in that situation. And the game's all about points. In red zone, that's where you got to be at your best. I thought they had good play calls. Cobb just wasn't able to execute it. That was the difference.
I don't care what nobody say. Chris Jones is the MVP, bro.
Yeah,
he's a demon. And then if you think about like the season is so long, we forget that he had to hold out. And you know what I'm saying? Like at one point it was like, we could win without him. Like, no, the hell you can't.
No, you can't.
Back that Brinks truck up and pay him whatever the hell he want. You get what I'm saying? But one thing that was so important, like a key moment to, like you said, James, was that touchdown that they should have been a touchdown to Deebo Samuel, that Chris Jones was able to get some pressure off of. And it's one of those things, right? As a coach in high school used to always tell me, like, even on the receiver side of the ball, if you throw it to you might as well catch it. You're gonna get hit anyway, right? And that's the same thing for the quarterback, bro. You might as well stare the barrel down the gun and take the hit. You're gonna get hit anyway, regardless. So that's one of those things, like you gotta be accurate in that point. Like those are those 1 or 2 plays that's gonna affect you when it comes to winning these big games like the Super Bowl. And you gotta sit there and you gotta take the hit and deliver the throw.
It's tough, man. And obviously, with this back-to-back, for the Chiefs, that question gonna continue to come up again with the Mahomes, the GOAT conversation. Like,
I ain't trying to hear that.
I'm just saying people gonna be talking about it. They're gonna be talking about it on Sports Center for the next whole off season.
But that's what I'm saying. I ain't trying to hear
the greatest and all that. But hey, I say he's on the right track though, man.
He definitely.
He's definitely on the right track. I thought, like I said, it wasn't like his greatest game throwing the football, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to have 400 yards passing, to have a great football game as a quarterback. I thought he handled himself, extremely well. I said, had the turnover, and kind of adjusted to the game, started using his legs, making the right decisions. I thought that overtime drive was just great execution, on his part. Just the ball's in my hands. I'm not going to give it away. If I need to run it, now I'm going to run it. If I'm going to throw it, it's only going to my guys. And I thought Andy Reid and him, I said, that's when you want to be at your best, man. That was just perfect execution, dog. That's what you want to see. Man.
And that's another thing, and that speaks to Patrick Mahomes, like his greatness, because he's great. He's a great quarterback. But like that last drive that San Fran had, like you have to. Like, I was saying, I felt like you have to get 7 in that case. Like obviously you got it. You took 3, but like I feel like you cannot leave that drive without getting 7 because you're going against a great quarterback who has time and time again shown you he can win a football game with the ball in his hand, right?
I did have a question. No mean to cut you off.
No,
I saw some people saying that San Francisco, they won the toss, they should have kicked off instead of received. How do y'all feel about that with the new rules? Y'all,
I
I think I'm a receiver. I want to try and score. Put the pressure.
I say receive it too, especially if both teams get the opportunity to drive the ball down the field. San Fran did a really good job of running time off the clock. They set the tone. They were physical. Literally the only thing was not capping a drive with a touchdown.
Yeah,
drove the ball all the way down the field. You look good doing it. And you just didn't cap it off at the end of the drive. You score a touchdown, you either force another overtime or you force Pat to do something crazy to get a touchdown on the board like they did at the end of the game. Like you have to. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't even think of that, James. But I think they was you might have been right. You might have been better off. You know what I'm saying? Giving them a ball first. But I remember vividly texting in the group chat what it was like 4th and 4 from like the 4 like
10,
4 yard line.
It's
whatever it was. It was close. But I remember texting and saying, like, man, what y'all do with the eyes? And like we know we have such now in football analytics. You know, analytics say nobody's gonna go 90 plus yards on you.
Yeah.
So in that situation on a 4th and 4, I feel like hell, you might as well go for it. You know what I'm saying? And the results end up being the same. You know what I'm saying? And if Pat goes 95 yards on me or whatever it is to win the Super Bowl, I gotta live with it. You know. So I think, and then actually the play that they went for was low key there. Just was a pressure. You could tell he either overthrew it or he just threw it to get it. He just threw the ball away. You know what I'm saying? To take the 3 points. So it's so tough, man. The chess match in these games and the decision making is so important, man. Like you said, James, you go back and you watch the film, and it's like, damn, if I would have only did this or I would have only did that, this whole game could have changed. This outcome could have been different.
Yeah, but I think they did. I mean, like I said, I think they did the right thing, taking the ball first, because then you put your defense in position to win the game for you. And they have been playing great all night. Like they have been playing a really solid football game. So you trust them to cap the game off for you and to win it. I mean, you couldn't ask for your defense to have played any better against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Like, you couldn't ask for it, and they played a great game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a catch-22, man. Either way you go,
for sure,
it's gonna be some negative parts of it, man. But I thought it was a great game, dog. You go ahead, son.
So I want to propose this question to you guys, right? When does it become that Kyle Shanahan can't get the Niners over the hump? And I want to say this too, right? Big Red, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the Eagles let Andy Reid go after a playoff appearance season that year that they did decide to part ways from him. Yeah. And Andy Reid was able to take them to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost to Tom Brady. And then all those other years, they were close. They appeared in the NFC Championship a lot or in the playoff conversation a lot with Andy Reid. And I just feel like, when does it become a discussion? We talk about Nick Sirianni and everybody wanting to fire him and other coaches wanting to part ways because it just seems like they can't get them over the hump. But when does that conversation become for Kyle Shanahan? Because he's been there with Atlanta. He's been there against the Chiefs twice. He's been to the AFC Championship. I mean, not the NFC Championship against the Rams.
Yeah.
When does it become a conversation where he's just not the guy?
It's a conversation now. It's definitely going to be a conversation now. Like, I don't think you should part ways with him. But it's so hard to win in this league, though. It's coaches who can't get over 500. It's coaches who can't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So to fire a guy who's made it to a Super Bowl, a couple of times in the last, 4 or 5 years, to me, that's tough. But at the same time, if I'm the owner of the football team, like this happens again, dog.
But here's the thing: the two things that you talked about was him being with Atlanta and him being with San Fran. You was with Atlanta when you had a Matt Ryan who was at the end of his road. Like, again, they had a great season that year.
He wasn't end yet, though, at that point.
I mean, he was close.
He was just, might have been MVP that year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right.
And Julio was still Julio.
Yeah.
But you're right. But then at the same time, like, you also you got Brock Purdy, who was, again, Mr. Irrelevant. Again, draft grades and all that stuff, like we've seen, doesn't truly matter all the time, but do you wait till you give him like a guy, right? Not saying that Brock Purdy can't be that, but do you wait till you get him a guy to see what happens at that point, right?
Well, Brock Purdy is about to get paid. Yeah. Brock Purdy is about to get paid. And I think Brock Purdy is, when you say a guy, Brock Purdy is a guy. You know
what I'm saying is like, do you get him someone that may have a better potential or can do more for you in the pocket? You know, like I said, not to discredit what Brock Purdy's done, because he's a good he's a very good quarterback, and he's done really good getting that team to where he's gotten them to. But do you give them a guy that has a better potential or can do more with his legs or can do more, you know, with the ball in his hand? Because you can't give Brock Purdy the ball at the end of the game. At least you haven't seen it yet. You can't give him the ball at the end of the game and say, go make this happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say, but at the same time, if you look at the game tonight, that wasn't on Brock Purdy. You know what I mean?
It was, it wasn't. I'm not trying. Like I said, I like Brock Purdy, and I think he deserves the bag and everything he about to get. But we know that you can't. That we know that there are quarterbacks that can do more for you than what Brock Purdy can do.
Yeah, fair. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Like, say they have whatever. A guy like Mahomes, a guy you put like Josh Allen or something.
Yeah, a Josh Allen, a Mahomes, a Lamar.
I was going to say Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, do you give him someone that someone that's proven it, or do you go get someone that has the potential to do so? That's what I'm saying.
When you say that though, and I know we kind of got to go, but I want to also add this, right? Kirk Cousins never been to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Josh Allen never been to the Super Bowl. Yeah. All these quarterbacks that we're naming have never been in these situations. And James, you can attest to this. Like, you've been there more than anybody we know, right? That's a whole different. That's a whole different pressure cooker to be in.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, it's a whole different beast. Let's say you got to give a kid credit, man, for what he did 100%. This year and what he did in this game. Like I said, handle himself, better than many guys who have got their first opportunity to play in the game. But that's a wrap for the Super Bowl edition of the Money Down. It was a great game. Congrats to the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, back to back. First one since the Pats. Yeah, shout out. Y'all like, follow, subscribe. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok at the Money Down Pod. Let's go.
Get it.